Hello students, today we are going to start the class with the topic Dalton's law of partial pressures. Okay, who gave this actually law? It was given by John Dalton. Okay, so what does this law tells about? It tells about that mixture of the non-reacting gases, a mixture of non-reacting gases, okay, its total pressure is equal to the sum of the partial pressures of the individual gases. Okay, so what do we mean by that? That yes, if the total pressure what we are getting is equal to what? P1 plus P2 plus P3. What is this P1, P2, P3? Come on, let us take the example of the simple mixture of gases. Okay, it consists of oxygen, it consists of nitrogen, okay, it consists of carbon dioxide. Okay, so what other gases also, just go on adding whatever the pressure comes, it is equal to the what? The equal to the partial pressures only of what? Oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide and all. Okay, so total pressure is equal to what? The partial pressures of the individual gases. But one thing you have to remember, what should be constant over there? Temperature and volume. Okay, now what will be the pressure? Actually, when we are taking out this total pressure of the gases, what we do? We take it with the downward displacement of water. Okay, so when we are taking with the downward displacement, what happens here along with the gases, what comes? The vapors of the water also. So now the gas is not only the gases of different we have taken like oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide and all. Okay, it also consists of water vapors. And we want to take out the pressure of the dry gas. It means the pressure of only oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide or all, not water. So what we have to do? Okay, so here actually when we are taking out, okay, suppose what is this? In this manner we take out, isn't it? Okay, so here what is present? Water is present. Okay, so now what will happen? This gas will come and it will be accommodated in this region. Okay, here what is present? Water is present. So here which we are getting is what? The P total. Okay, this is the P total. But what happens in this pressure total? It also consists of the pressure of what? The water vapors also. But we want to take out what? The pressure of the dry gas. So what we have to do to take out the pressure of the dry gas, what we have to do? P total minus the aqueous tension. This aqueous tension is created by what? The water vapors. Okay, so what is this aqueous tension? It is the pressure exerted by the saturated water vapor, I said to you. Okay, so in this manner we can take out the pressure of the dry gas. Now let us study partial pressure in terms of mole fraction. So you all know better what is mole fraction? Huh? You have studied in the first chapter how to take out the mole fraction of a solute and a solvent. Okay, how did you take out the mole fraction of this solute and solvent? You have taken what? The commodity, like if you are wanting to take out the mole fraction of solute, you have taken what? X1 upon X1 plus X2 you have done now, X1 for solute and X2 for solvent. Okay, the thing which you have to take out the mole fraction will come on the numerator, and in the denominator you will get what? The sum of the mole fractions. Okay, that is what? For solute and solvent. Okay, likewise we will be taking out the partial pressure in terms of mole fraction. Okay, so we have seen the ideal gas equation that PV is equal to nRT. Okay, so when we want only to take out the pressure, it becomes nRT upon V, isn't it? Now here we are seeing what? The partial pressures of different gases, P1, P2, P3, isn't it? P total is what? P1 plus P2 plus P3. So now if you want to take out for P1, what will be the formula now? That if we are taking the ideal gas equation formula, P1 is equal to what? N1 RT upon V. For P2 it becomes N2 RT upon V. P3 it becomes N3 RT upon V, isn't it? So, and P total, how do we calculate? We calculate P1 plus P2 plus P3. So, what are the values of P1, P2 and P3? Okay, so value of P1 is what? N1 RT upon V. P2 is N2 RT upon V. P3 is N3 RT upon V, isn't it? So, now, what is common among them, beta? Something is common, I think so. It is RT upon V, isn't it? So, RT upon V, we will be taking it in common. And what is different? That is this number of moles. So, N1 plus N2 plus N3, isn't it? Okay, you will be keeping it in the bracket, and common one you will be keeping it after that. Okay, now, if we want to take out what? P1 upon P total. Okay, we are taking out actually mole fraction of what? P1. Okay, so here how we will be doing it? For P1 it becomes what? What is the number of moles? Only N1, it is N1, isn't it? Upon what? The sum of number of moles, it will become what? N1 plus N2 plus N3, isn't it? What is in common? Okay, what is in common? Here you have written RT upon V, and here also you are getting what? RT upon V. So what happens here? It gets what? Cancelled up. Okay, so now what you are getting? N1 upon N1 plus N2 plus N3. Sum it up, give it an expression of N. Okay, so it becomes what? N1 plus N1 upon N is equal to what? X. X represents what? Mole fraction only, isn't it? So what is mole fraction of first one, isn't it? So we will be writing what? X1. So now what is pressure of the first gas? Okay, it will be what? X1. P total will be coming, isn't it? So P1 is equal to what? X1 into what? P total. Likewise, if you want to take P2, okay, just write P2 over here. Here it will become N2, okay, and the same procedure, okay, here it will become N2, here it will become X2, okay. So here what is this X2? It is mole fraction of the gas 2. If it is X1, it is mole fraction of the gas 1, okay. Here also you will write P2. Here also it will become what? X2, and here P2, X2, and the same manner you will be taking out what? For P3 also, okay. Now let us study with the help of the graph given by these two scientists, Maxwell and Boltzmann. Okay, along the x-axis speed is represented, along the y-axis number of molecules are represented. Okay, we can see over here two curves are there, curve 1 and curve 2. Okay, temperature difference has been taken. Okay, here T2 is means temperature 2 is greater than temperature 1, and that is the why we are getting two different curves, okay, with different height. Okay, here now let us understand that. You can see here the first curve. Okay, here you can see the number of molecules are more, but the speed is less, isn't it? In the second curve, what we are seeing? Number of molecules are less, but speed is more. Okay, so now let us understand both the curve individually. Okay, this has been taken at temperature 1, this has been taken as temperature 2. Okay, so here we are seeing when this speed is studied, it is studied along 3 positions. Okay, first position is the most probable position in which the molecules, the speed is being shown, or they are having that speed. Second is the average speed. Okay, and the third is the root mean speed. Okay, so in this manner 3 areas you can see over here, okay, showing what? Different speed. That is in case of the second curve also. Okay, you can see the most probable speed, the average, the root mean speed. Okay, so here we are seeing when temperature is increased, the speed is also increasing, the value of speed you are getting more. Okay, but when temperature is less, the speed is less. Okay, and this is how Maxwell and Boltzmann could explain the distribution of speeds of the molecules of the gases at different temperatures. So now we had studied when the temperature was different, okay. Now we will be studying this with what different molecular mass and same temperature, okay. Before we have studied with different temperature, same molecular mass. Here same temperature, different molecular mass, okay. So now let us see the graph. Number of molecules, molecular speed, okay. Here what we are seeing, okay, two gases taken, chlorine, nitrogen, okay. When we are seeing this, if we are saying whose molecular mass is more, chlorine or nitrogen, obviously it is chlorine, isn't it? We are seeing the gas which is having the higher molecular mass attains the greater height, okay, with a low speed. But if the molecular mass is less, it attains, okay, at a less height with more speed, okay. So how we will be seeing it? So kinetic energy is equal to half mu square. I have written, you all know half mv square. In physics you write over here v, but in chemistry we use u, okay. Now, so u square means what here? Velocity square is equal to what? u1 square plus u2 square plus go on till u square n square, okay. So here we are seeing what, upon what it is n, okay. So here we are seeing what? The mean. So mean is represented by bar, okay. Whenever we are writing squares, it means what it is representing, the mean, and it is written by this bar, okay. So now if we are saying velocity, this root mean square speed is equal to, in the root, okay, what? Mean square, okay, which you have got over here. So when we are calculating it, so we are seeing what? This URMS, okay, it means what? Speed root mean square is greater than what? Mean is greater than what? The average speed, okay, and then the most probable one, okay. So when we are taking out the ratio, okay, it comes what? For the most probable one comes 1 ratio, for the average it comes 1.128 ratio, okay, what? 1.224. This value is already calculated, beta, okay. So this is all for today. Hope you might have understood it. Good day. Take care.